Good day, everyone. Welcome to today's daily devotion. Today's devotion will be taken from Matthew chapter 28, verse 20, and it reads as follows: "And teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you, and surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age." I am with you always. Now, the love of God is a really challenging thing to really understand. I mean, it doesn't really stimulate the five human senses of seeing, touching, smelling, tasting, and feeling. When we love as human beings, at the very least one of those senses are stimulated. With God's love and with God's presence, we find it really hard to understand because none of them are. Let's be honest, we all want to see, we all want to touch and smell and taste and feel someone's love in our lives. And when it comes to God's love, those things really aren't taken into account. For instance, when you're away from home, there's certain things that you miss in particular. The smell of your household, or the touch of your family, or even the taste of food. But again, when we experience God's love and when we speak about God's love, it sometimes might not be something that we can look back to as reference. And that's why when our faith is waning and we're struggling in our lives, we can oftentimes feel alone. There aren't really things we can look back on in our heads, or there aren't really experiences or little gestures that we can conjure up to feel God's love again. It often just feels like we're floating, and if anything, faith is a myth. It feels like faith is imaginary. You see, when you miss home and when you miss a person, there's certain things that can bring you back to it. But with God and His love, it's a lot harder to bring you back to what exactly that feels like. So when God says, "I am with you always," to be honest, sometimes it doesn't feel like He's there. Sometimes it doesn't feel like you're safe. It doesn't feel like you're at home. In anyone's Christian life or in anyone's spiritual journey, there'll be times where you feel alone, where it's lonely. Because again, us as humans don't fully grasp and understand the spiritual realm that God exists in. So when we don't understand, we can't make sense of where God is in our lives, or where it is that He exists in a moment or in a phase in our lives where we might be struggling, where we might be alone. And therefore it kind of feels like there's nothing around us except the struggle, except the hard times. But God says it right there. He is with us always. Now, are we truly with God always? Do we spend enough time with Him? Do we seek Him? Do we do enough to feel like He is there? Do we do enough to know that He is there? Now, our relationship with God, just like any other relationship, involves a two-way street. Now, when you feel close enough to God, when you've done enough to incorporate God in the different facets of your life, slowly but surely you get to understand the realm that He exists in. That realm is so unfathomable that if you're not close enough to Him, you just won't get it. You just won't feel God is near. You just won't feel that maybe He's even real. If you're too far removed, you might not even think God exists. And again, it's almost not logical to say that you should believe and you should also seek something that you can't see, taste, smell, touch, or hear. But again, if you've experienced God, if you've been near to God before in your life, I think you could attest to the fact that the closer you are to Him, the more you understand where God exists, where He roams and lives in your life, where He lives in the world. It's this unexplainable, almost ethereal math equation where 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. But somehow it just makes sense that the closer you are to Him, the more you see Him. The more it feels like He's near to you, the more you see Him in the world around you. The world starts to look, instead of evil and ugly, it starts to look good and beautiful. And again, an equation that can't be explained by what we know as mathematics, but in its divinity, it just somehow makes sense. So if you're willing to, and if it means enough to you, seek God, look for Him, talk to Him, take time out of your day to spend with Him, and know that the more and more you walk towards God, the more you'll see Him at work in your life. Amen.